now go through kind of post-match analysis, talk about all the talking points within the game. So if you're new to the stream, get your comments in. What we're first of all going to do is just go through our player of the match. So on Sky Sports, they did bring up as James Maddison was the player of the match.
Okay.
He was joint top with obviously goals because him and Sonny scored. I think he was top with like passes, things like that. So, he has done extremely well. During the stream, I said that my player of the match was still Vicario. I still think that, given the negativity surrounding Vicario, I think that, he has done sensationally well to get himself kind of such a good reputation at such a young age. Like, let's think, right? The guy is, I can't remember 26, I would imagine, for Vicario. A goalkeeper really doesn't hit their stride until late 20s, early 30s. And they can keep going to mid to late 30s. So he's got easily another 10 years in his in a career. And I just think that he's been absolutely sensational. So for me, I'm going to put it down as Vicario as my player of the match. But Kallum, who are you going to go for as your final player of the match?
I think I'll stick with Maddison based on what we saw. But yeah, close second behind probably Vicario, mate. I think, our two best players on the pitch tonight. So, but yeah, based on contribution and his goal, Maddison.
Yeah, definitely. Winnie?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Vicario, pretty similar to what you said. He's been a bit of an unsung hero all season, gone completely under the radar. And today he's come up with some important saves at important times in the game. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to stick with Vicario.
Yeah, I just think his ability to play out from the back, he can turn into a bit of a sweeper keeper, as we saw late on with balls played through. He was, level-headed and cleared it out. Look, he makes mistakes like any goalkeeper does. There was a pass in that first half, Kallum, wasn't there, where he kind of just played it straight to a Fulham defender, a striker instead of one of our defenders. But, those things will happen when you're playing kind of a more dangerous play out from the back football. But I just think that, with the amount of hate that he's been getting recently, you've got to say well done to him.
Exactly, have you seen? So Dave has just put in the WhatsApp group from a Fabrizio Romano tweet. Tottenham's Ange Postecoglou has now accumulated the most points by a Premier League manager in their first 9 games.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Like, let's talk a little bit about Big Ange then, because there was a lot of people who doubted this man, right? And a little bit kind of what you've done over a few different things, Winnie. But I've been a big advocate of him. Living in Scotland and understanding the way he plays football, or played it with Celtic. All my neighbours are Celtic fans. Talk to them on a weekly basis about him, and I just think that he is so underrated as a football manager. That's exactly what we needed at this time. There were people sat there saying, how can this guy come and manage in the Premier League when he's never managed in the Premier League before? Well, guess what? That's what happens sometimes. That's what happens. How do you get a position without being given it and working hard and achieving it? And he has achieved at every single football club, at every single level that he has been at. Yeah. And I think those people should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for the way that he was treated prior to coming in. But for him, it's no surprise. He was treated the same way at Celtic, and he does the same way he's been treated at Spurs. And every single person that did that at Celtic had egg on their face by the end of it. Now, I'm not saying he's the new Messiah. I'm not saying that he's going to win us the Premier League title this season. I'm not saying he's ever going to win us the Premier League title. But he plays very good football. He makes very good tactical decisions. And this team is getting better and better week in and week out.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And he's actually made the fans fall back in love with Tottenham and the badge and what we stand for. We actually want to watch Spurs. Not that yeah, we all watch it because we're fans, but we actually want to watch it and we actually enjoy watching it now compared to just having to do it because it's the only thing that we've got on the weekend.
Could you imagine us doing a live watch along for Conte ball?
No.
And the ball has gone
It's a valid
sideways.
point, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
ball has gone backwards.
Oh, we're 5-0 down within 10 minutes away at Newcastle.
Oh, Højbjerg's lost the ball again.
Oh, Lloris can't keep the ball.
And do you know what else it's done? Something that has gone very much under the radar as well. The Levy out crew, which I don't disagree with at times, are extremely quiet now.
Oh, what can they moan about?
Well, the things are still happening that were happening before. The things that they were still moaning about were happening before. It's just the football is slightly better. And you can only put that down to Ange Postecoglou. There's nothing that Daniel Levy has done to transform this football club over the last, 9 games plus pre-season. And I just think that, again, it's another quick move, another quick thought to try and shift blame onto somebody else rather than, months ago, I was saying how bad Antonio Conte was. Months ago, I was saying that him and Jose Mourinho are both outdated as managers. Did you see what the idiot said the other week, Conte? He said, the next team that I manage are going to be a team that's recently won something. Yeah. With that all you've got, do you know what I mean? It's like Ange Postecoglou is like an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Who comes in and, absolutely transforms a small company into a huge giant. Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho are those CEOs that go from company to company to company and just take their paychecks week in, week out and don't do anything to affect that business. And, I think that both managers are dead. I think they're both washed up. And you're going to see Jose Mourinho will be gone from Roma soon at the end of his contract, I think, at the end of this season. I'm so glad they're all gone out of this football club, to be honest. But what are your thoughts, Winnie?
And mate, look, I'm not going to lie. At the time, I was the Mourinho one was a little bit different because I was still hurting from the Pochettino departure. But it felt, I felt a little bit of comfort when I realised that it was Mourinho because I thought, we don't have managers like this at our club, because he was huge. I mean, I'm not going to say he is huge now because I think he's a little bit washed up now. If I'm honest, I think he's a bit of a has-been. Whether people disagree, that's up to them. But at the time, he still had that fantastic reputation of just being the dog's bollocks, and so there was a little bit of comfort. But the Conte arrival was significantly different. I was just absolutely craving it when we were linked with him. I was like, we need to get this Conte. We need to get Conte in. He's going to absolutely transform this club. He's going to win us this. He's going to win us that. He is going to be the best manager we've ever seen at this club. But yeah, it turns out that he was just shit, to be honest. It was. I mean, his football was shit. The only thing he did was maybe united the fans again a little bit over, the kind of shit that Mourinho had left behind, because, the fans did love Conte at the start. And we loved Conte Cam, didn't we? We loved everyone. I know everyone was waiting for Conte Cam to be released by the club so they could watch it and watch him and watch how passionate he was. And I did love how passionate he was. And I don't doubt that at the time I thought, this guy really wants to be at Tottenham and he really wants to manage his club. But maybe looking back at it now, some of the comments he's made, maybe it was just all selfish, and maybe he was just cheering for himself and not the team.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit of that, I think, with Antonio Conte. I think when it goes well for him, he takes all of the praise that comes with it. When it doesn't go his way, he throws everybody else under the bus to try and salvage something for himself. And, good riddance in my opinion. But let's get back to the game because, we've just seen Spurs win 2-0 against Fulham. And Kallum has decided to get himself a nice 3 points in the score predictor table.
I know.
So Kallum, I will bring up the old score predictor table. Unfortunately, being live on the stream for 2.5 hours, I haven't managed to update it. But Kallum will now come off the bottom of the
Willie? I don't know, Willie or
I'm
not.
going to switch it around, don't you worry. So Kallum will be on 7. Harry got a correct team to win with Tottenham, which takes him on to 7. Dave went for a draw, which takes him also on to 7, or remains him on 7. Winnie, you got to 11, and I got to 13.
Yeah.
And that's how we're currently.
Just throwing it out there. Obviously, in a league table, it goes goals scored, goal difference, etc. But in these tables, would it not go alphabetical?
Stop.
Right, okay.
Being
So then
a
Callum's
dick.
still bottom.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll allow it. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, of course you will. Of course you will. Yeah.
We go top of the league, 2
Yeah.
points clear at the top of the league, and still remain unbeaten in the Premier League.
Somehow, yes, it's
good to be a Spurs fan right now, isn't it, Winnie?
Mate, it's it's amazing. I'm not going to lie. It's however long this lasts for. It is what it is. We didn't expect Ange to have such a huge impact straight away. So look, even if we lost every game now to the rest of this, to the end of the season, I'm sure that won't happen. But he still would have some credit in the bank because of how he started the season off and how he's got the players together. And let's not forget, I think he's improved players that we maybe didn't think could be improved, because I've said this loads of times before when I've been guests on pods, and I'm pretty sure I've said it on our channel before as well. The difference is Conte and Mourinho, I think, are fantastic managers, but I don't think they're great coaches, because a coach is someone who will look at a player every day in training, will work on his weaknesses, and he'll look at him and go, you're fantastic at this, but you could do better at this. So you should maybe try doing something different, try doing this, try doing these exercises. And that's exactly what Ange looks like he's doing in training. We under Conte and Mourinho, we just couldn't keep the ball, really, could we? There was no real possession, no passages of play where we would make little triangles and keep the ball. It was a lot of let's just try and get it to Kane and see what he can do. And that maybe that wasn't the fault of the manager. Maybe that was just the fault of the fact we had Harry Kane and no one else really. But it just seems like when Ange came in, his first 4, all I could see in the training videos was loads of passing drills. Let's just keep the ball. Let's knock the ball backwards and forwards to each other and keep it for as long as we can. Now, all of a sudden, we're keeping the ball maybe not as good as Man City, but we're keeping the ball well. Do you know what I mean? And maybe it's not a coincidence, but yeah. So Ange is a fantastic coach, and I have no doubt also a good manager. And I think that's the main difference between what we see in Ange and what we had in Conte and Mourinho.
Yeah, definitely. And let's Kallum, let's go to the first goal, because scored by Heung-min Son, our captain. And I still baffles me that calling him the captain, but he's such a great person and such a great player. But it all came from Bassi for Fulham, hoofing the ball out from the back. Van der Ven made a progressive run forward to steal the ball. It was played into Son. He took a touch to get past the defender, and then he just whipped it into the far corner. What do you make of that goal, and what do you make of him so far this season?
Such a great team goal, mate. Well, first, the Fulham mistake. Bassi didn't have a good game. I think we can say full stop for tonight. He won't look back on it proudly. But the progressive play from Van der Ven to push up that far, to then do a pinpoint pass into Richarlison, who did a one-look past Son, and then for Son to have the composure and the confidence to then carry it, to steady himself, and then just take such a sublime shot into the top corner was brilliant. And he looks like such a player with confidence and an air about him where he's come out of Kane's shadow. That's what I see with him. He's no longer the second best. He's no longer the bridesmaid. He's the bride now, and he's at the forefront of what he is for South Korea, and he's replicating it for Spurs now. So if he keeps going the way that he is, he will have so much more going forward, and to actually be the captain as well. I mean, you always see the clips where he has a laugh and a joke with people. They all hug and they're all mates, but he's actually leading from the front, using his skill and his goals to speak for themselves as a leader, which we want. So that's great.
Definitely. And then Winnie, the second goal of the night was a goal by Maddison. Again, the ball was picked up by Højbjerg this time, played into Son, laid it off to Madders, and Madders does what he does best. It didn't help that Calvin Bassey was about 10 yards deeper than he should have been on the right-hand side. But again, the guy didn't have a great day.
No.
But, those two and their goal-scoring abilities this season have been brilliant, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like Madders has stepped in, because obviously we know Kane and Son have got the most goal contributions, as a pair in the Premier League now, surpassing, was it Drogba and and Lampard at the time? I think it was. So, mate, it just looks as though Madders has stepped into Kane's shoes in that respect. And if I'm honest, it looks like he's also done it in respect for Tottenham as well, because he's just, there's some big shoes to fill, as we know, with H leaving. But I said this when he first joined, before he had really played. Madders possesses the same, pretty much this, not the same ability as such, because H is a phenomenal player, as is Madders, and they're different types of players, but he possesses the same attributes that H has. He can put the ball in the top corner from 30 yards like H could. He can find, he can thread the eye of a needle. This guy's got everything that H had. Maddison has also got. So it just looks as though he's stepped into his shoes. But yeah, Bassey's had a bit of a stinker again, hasn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, first of all, he's played an aimless ball. You don't play a ball into the centre of the midfield from like that. You play it down the wing if you're going to do it. He kind of played it a bit too central, and it turns out it was a shit pass anyway. And obviously it's into Son's feet. He's knocked it out into Madders on running path. And then I didn't really expect Madders to miss, to be honest. I was that confident that he was going to put it away, and that's exactly what he did. But in the meantime, Bassey's still having a chat to the linesman, I think. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest, because he's still not pushed up with the rest of his defence. So he's had a bit of a stinker, but again, another phenomenal performance from Maddison. He's put the ball in the back of the net and got himself his first home goal, I believe.
That is correct, yeah. Right, so Kallum, we go into this week top of the league, 2 points clear, and we could go into the weekend with a 5-point lead over everybody else, putting pressure on City, Liverpool, Arsenal. We go away to Crystal Palace on Friday night, which actually looks interesting, doesn't it? A Monday night game and followed by a Friday night game. What do you think we can win on Friday night? Think we'll go 5 points clear? So putting a statement out there if we do, isn't it?
It would be such a good statement if we do. Yeah, I reckon we can go there and win. I think that Palace are a good team and they've got good players, but they're not always there with the goals. They play a nice brand of football, but they're not that clinical. So I think we could go there. But yeah, based on the Monday and Friday turnaround, I think it's dog shit. I think that definitely all about broadcast money. It's all about the Premier League being at the sort of mercy of the broadcasting companies to go, we want to have it on there. But if we can go there and win, 5 points clear, then it puts the pressure on everyone else to do it. Simple as that. Because even if we don't win, even if we lose, I still think that this team has got so much about them, they won't let it pull them down. They'll just go, it's one loss. Ange will go, it's one loss, happens, get on with it, move on to the next one. So I don't doubt that these guys will go out there and give it their all. It's just about the recovery time, I think, from tonight where they've gone for a good proportion. was Ange actually thinking when he took Madders, Son, and a couple of the others off, especially Doji, was he thinking about Friday as well
100%.
with that in mind?
Yeah, definitely. And Winnie, quick answer from you. Can we go 5 points clear on Friday night?
We should do. Yeah, we should do, because look, Palace is an intimidating place to go to. It's a place that I believe we usually struggle. The atmosphere is a little bit intimidating, but this is a new Tottenham Hotspur. I don't think this is a Tottenham Hotspur that succumbs to atmosphere and pressure. We're a different team. We're a team full of youngsters now that I believe are just so full of confidence that they won't really give a shit about the ground rocking, which I'm sure it will be. But we're talking about a Crystal Palace who have been very much a one-man side for a very long time with Wilfred Zaha. He's now no longer there, and I've watched them a few times, and they just don't seem
They
like
got torn
the
apart
same.
against Newcastle, didn't they?
Yeah, they don't seem like they're the same side. And obviously, I think they've got current injuries in Eze and Elise, who are the only other two players for me that are worth anything from Crystal Palace. No disrespect, but that's just my opinion. So it's a game, again, we should be going there, and if we apply ourselves the same we have done today and in other games, it's a game we should be winning. And I don't think that's too, that's not arrogant. It's just confidence in the sense that we are that side now. And, I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves and think we're going to beat everyone, because we're not going to beat everyone. But today was a game that I said we should have won, and we have. And in my opinion, Palace away is another game we should go, and we definitely shouldn't lose, in my opinion.
100%. 100%. I think confidently, with my heart, we go into this weekend. We sit there with our feet up. We're 5 points clear at the top of the league, and we say it's over to you now. Off you go.
Yep.
You try and keep up with us. And that's what we have to just keep doing, and we keep doing, and we keep doing. Look, we all know at some point we are going to lose a game, but it's not going to be Friday.
No, it'll be against fucking Pochettino, won't it?
Winnie,
November 9th, isn't it? Something like that.
I'm gonna get these off the rest of the boys later tonight on WhatsApp. But we're gonna go now into our score predictions.
Oh no, you hit me with that already. Right, okay.
Yeah. We're gonna do score predictions, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. So Winnie, I'm coming to you first. Crystal Palace Friday night. What's the score gonna be?
I'm going to go. Is this locked in, by the way?
This is locked in.
This is locked in. You are a knob. Okay. I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with. I know I'm right. I'm gonna contradict myself, because I'm thinking of the predictor table, and I'm gonna win that predictor table. So the score is going to be 1-1.
Okay.
Which isn't contradicting myself, because I said we should go there and not lose. But I also said I think it's a game we should win. But yeah, 1-1.
Yeah, that's okay, mate. Kallum. First 3 points today. Shooting up the table. What are you going for?
2-0 Spurs.
2-0 Spurs. Keep that going. Keep that 2-0 going. I absolutely love that.
That's like that.
Yeah. I'm going to
Come
go
on, Luke, what we're saying?
1-0 Spurs.
1-0 Spurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
1-0 Spurs. I will get Harry and Dave's predictions off them, and then I'll post it on Twitter. So then for our Sunday show, we will have a brand new updated from 2 games predictor table. So keep your eyes on that. We'll be back this Sunday, 7 p.m. As our usual slot, to discuss a little bit of this game, but also the Palace game on Friday night. Guys, it's been a long stream. I want to thank you both for joining. Winnie, how can everybody find you, buddy?
Yeah, Winnie1991 on Twitter, and obviously Part Lane Pod admin. So I keep saying every week, every after every pod, I'm like, look for my controversial tweet, and then I just don't do it. So I'll say that I'll post one tomorrow. I might not.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Let's keep the people hanging. Yeah, love that. And Kallum, how can everyone find you?
At Kallum Stubbs 97 on Twitter as always. I am on most of the Park Lane pods, so if you guys want to find me, go over to there or find me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks for having me on again, mate. It was a very enjoyable watch along, and if people want to see it again, let us know, and you never know, we may do it Friday.
Exactly. One other thing to let everybody know about that may, be happening in the future. There may be some kind of esports streaming from myself and Winnie over the coming months. We're going to work on a few things. Probably we'll start with FIFA. But, we're going to talk about that, and, we'll let you all know on Twitter about how that's going to go. But it's in the pipeline.
And you can see Luke absolutely shit his pants in the box and not shoot.
Exactly. And here Winnie screaming at me on over the microphone. But, if you want to follow me, it's Luke_Partlane. But more importantly, thank you for everybody that's tuned in tonight. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're subscribing. There will be a match preview out for the Crystal Palace game in the coming days. So stay tuned on all social media. But as we say on every week, of the Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.